Hey, hi everyone. Once again, welcome to our IG Live. So today I'm super excited because we have a very special guest who's gonna join us in a moment, and we are going to know a lot about social media, how to use social media and AI to leverage a lot of people. So I can see her. Let me just quickly send her an invite and let her in. Just a second. Hey, hi Gogo. How are you? I've sent you an invite. Just a second. Accept.
Good morning.
Hey, hi, good morning. So good to see you again. How are you?
I am good. Sorry about my wet hair, but I don't work Thursdays. I showed up here for you guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You look perfect as usual. So, how are you
Thank you.
doing this morning? It must be very
I
early for
am.
you, right?
Well, it's kind oh, sorry, I had a filter here. Let me just go back. I'm good. I was enjoying my coffee this morning and then, I took a nice shower and here I am. But I don't work
Great.
Thursdays, Fridays, so you guys are my only appointment. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, that's awesome. So sweet of you. And so we are honored to have you here today. And I was so excited to invite you. And we have tried reaching out to you multiple times. But even our audience from India, I'm sure that there are so many followers you have. The people who are residing in Canada, US, and India, the realtors from Indian origin. So
That's
we are so
awesome.
excited for today's session, Gogo. So without wasting further time, I really wanted to, give the sport to you, and really would like to know about your journey, how you started, how you ended up here, what you are doing, changing so many lives. So we are like here to hear from you. Go ahead.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. My real name is not Gogo. My real name is Gunvir, right? Nobody can pronounce it. So I kind of created this persona. So said in the US, Gogo, when I got my real estate license, I named it Gogo's Real Estate. So it's kind of a nickname out of necessity. So I'm an immigrant,
Okay.
right? Not from India, but from Eastern Europe. So I'm originally from Transylvania, Romania, but I am Hungarian by nationality. So I moved to the US when I was 21. I didn't know a single human being. I didn't speak English until I was 21 years old. I think it's
Mhm.
I think it's kind of crazy, right? I didn't get licensed until 2011. So about what is that, 8 years after I got to the US.
Mhm.
And by that time, we had two boys. My boys were 2 and 4 years old when I got licensed in real estate. So just
Mhm.
very much involved in raising them and kind of like a stay-at-home mom. And I started doing real estate on the side. I would stay home with the boys all day. And then when my husband got home, I would go show houses and I would work some weekends, right? And so that's how it started. And then over time, I just became really good at it, right? And then when I started passing my husband in income, then he really started paying attention, like, oh, this is like, it's a real thing. Originally, I thought I'm going to just have it as a side job. Back in the day, we had a really hard, I wanted to go home every year. Let's just put it that way, right? And my parents, I wanted to see my friends and my family and where I was, raised. And so I was homesick, but it was super expensive to go home. And at the time, it was about $7,000 every summer, 7 to 10,000 every summer. And that was 7 to 10,000 we didn't have. Right. And I was like, okay, I just got into real estate. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, raise the kids, make some money on the side, and then have enough money to go home to Romania every summer. So that's how it started. And then I just became really good at it and
No,
started
absolutely. I
making.
think, yeah, so your journey is phenomenal, I would say, and you are truly, I would say, an example of living in American dream,
Yeah.
right? So, America is a country which invites a lot of migrants, right? And there are a lot of people from Indian community, Indian diaspora. They are living that dream, right? So they are working as a realtor, scientist, doctors, engineers. So he's a huge community in terms of migration. So Southeast
Yeah, you guys are
Asian, or
all
I would
really
say,
smart.
oh yeah, so we are blessed, right? But
You
having said that,
guys are
I
all
think
hold
this
very
is,
high-paying jobs. I love it.
oh yes, but I think Indians are also a very good buyer and sellers. I'm sure you must have experienced that, and there are a lot of agents who wanted to crack Indian consumers, right? So we'll talk about it a little bit later, but we are really, having a lot of questions for you, Gogo, because you are using social media, leveraging it. I would say I give example to my team, to my agents, and they started following you. You are able to attract 1500 plus agents. This is huge. By congratulations, by the way, you are already in the alpha league of exp reality. So how you actually able to build your organization domestically as well as internationally by using the social media? And if you can share some specific strategies which you have used. I know it's a secret, but whatever you can share, so we would like to hear from you.
Absolutely. So, everything that I've done, always, I've done it with the power of social media because that was the only thing that I knew how to do. Kind of, it came easy to me because it's my generational thing, right? And also, it was what I could afford, right? So when I got into real estate, we were super broke, right? We could barely pay my monthly fees, right? When I wasn't selling homes, so I needed to find something. First of all, I had no sphere of influence. I had no cousins, no college friends. No, who am I kidding? I never went to college. Never finished college, I should say. So like I had no sphere. I didn't know people, right? So I was like, okay, who's going to buy a house from me? And I was like, well, that's strangers. And I'm like, okay, and where are the strangers? And they were on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the LinkedIn and the YouTubes of the world, right? So I was like, okay, well, then I need to exist on these platforms, right? And so I can be a choice. So same thing when I switched over to eXp, like prior to eXp, I done the same thing. Like all my leads always came from Instagram or Facebook or some sort of social media platform, right? And so when I switched over to eXp, I know that I was coming for agent attraction because I was already a top producer. So I knew how to sell houses, right? I was like, okay, there's another way how we can make money. So it's time for me to figure that way out, which was agent attraction. And I used the same exact methods that I used for lead generation on the buy and listing side to use it on the agent attraction side. So the only thing that changed, the way I was doing things didn't change. Of who I talked to changed, right? So I use the same platforms, the same Facebook and Instagram. I just changed my target audience. So instead of talking to buyers and sellers, I start talking to agents, right? Yeah. And that's really the only difference is that who is your target audience? Who are you talking to? And then what platform are you going to use? Now, I recommend to use them all. Now, I don't personally post on all of them. I post on Instagram alone, and then I have a team. I have 14 or 17 VAs, and they help me pretty much plaster my content everywhere. So I do exist on the YouTubes and the LinkedIn and the TikToks and the you name it. I exist everywhere, but I don't do the work everywhere. So I create on Instagram because that's like my home base, right? That's what I enjoy. I know how it works. I can push every button with my eyes closed. And I take that content or I should say my team takes that content and plasters it everywhere. So I exist everywhere. So with that being said, really what you need to do is you have to have a website so you have to take your business seriously, right? You should own your name.com. If you don't already own your name.com, you should go on GoDaddy and buy it right now. Like that should be step number one. Even if you're not there or you can't afford to buy or build a website or whatever, at least own it for now. It's like $11 to own a website, guys. Like you shouldn't have the excuse of not having your own. And since we're talking on it, talking about this, go buy your children's name.com as well, because you don't know who they're gonna be when they grow up. They might be the next Tom Brady, right? And you should own their name.com. I own my children's name.com. And that's it. Then you're gonna build a website. And on that website, you should build a partner with me page, right? So the partner with me page really just talks about who I am, how long I've been in the industry, why I switched to EXP, what I love about EXP, and why should agents join with me, right? And then there's a video explaining all of this. There's a description and there's a button to my calendar. And by the way, I think most of the listeners are EXP. Yeah. And the new Elevate Coaching program, so it's eXpElevateCoaching.com. You can actually buy my agent attraction course that we created for EXP agents. It's called EXP Agent Attraction Explained. Gosh, Agent Attraction Explained. So you guys can find it on the eXpElevateCoaching.com. And pretty much this is what I teach, right? So yes, I brought personally over 260 agents to my front line over the years. That turned into 1,550 agents overall in what we call the Team Gogo organization. And then in the Agent Attraction Explained, that's exactly what I teach. So you guys can go there, buy the course. We will help you build your funnels. You will understand what you have, why you have it. We'll explain exactly how to build it, what mindset you have to have, what objection handlings you need to learn, and then how to use it, right? And then so you can build your own partner with me page, and then you can use it for your own agent attraction.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are doing a lot for changing life of so many people, directly or indirectly, I would say, Gogo, and the impact you are putting together by your coaching, and I think this is one of the best thing I like about EXP. It's not about competing with your competition or with the other agents. In fact, you support them, collaborate them, uplift them, and then only you can able to impact their life in a better way. So you are doing fabulous job among some of the top leaders, I would say. I did get a chance to
Thank you.
hear from you, yeah, on some sort of stage. But you did mention about VAs, right? So I was very curious, how do you manage multiple roles in a day's time? I keep on following and seeing your posts whenever I get time on Instagram. So you are doing fabulous job. So clap for that. So being a successful entrepreneur, and I see you talk a lot about financial plannings, right? How to become financial freedom, right? And how to manage your finances. Most of the agents, what I personally feel, they fail to crack this, right? So how do you balance your personal life, your financial life, your agent attraction, your coaching, and all these roles? I mean, what is the secret sauce for that?
Oh my gosh. Well, I gonna start right at the basic. In my opinion, there is no such a thing as balance, right?
Uh-huh.
It's different for all of us. Where you feel comfortable of how much you work, and where I feel comfortable of how much I work, right? It could be something totally different. Also, I think it has to do with the time of our lives. So, meaning, when if my children were 2 and 4 years old right now, and I was still nursing, and I was still, doctor's appointments and all of that, it would be a totally different life than what it is today. Today, my boys are 15 and 17, right? So almost in a month they're each going to be 15 and 17, so it's just different. They don't want to hang with their mother when they're teenagers, right? So I have nothing but time, and in a few years I have really nothing but time, right? I'm going to be able to spend even more time on working. But to be honest with you, um, I did, when I switched to EXP, I did say, let me just try to see if I can have these messages go away, because I can see them and it's so distracting. I don't
Yeah.
think I can make them go away.
Yeah, it's
um
keep on coming. Yeah.
Thanks, honey. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can push something. No, it's not there. Um, so when I switched to EXP, I told my husband, I'm like, give me 3 years and I will work like a mad woman. I will literally burn the candle on every single angle that you can think of. I mean, I think my candle had like 1,700 angles because I came over to EXP. I was still very much in production. Then I slowly built a local team. I removed myself from production. I did agent attraction. I built 2 boot camps. I built my social media boot camp, my agent attraction boot camp. Then we started investing. Then we moved to Florida. Like, it literally was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
everything all at once. So I believe you can do that, but I believe you can't do that with the same time and force forever. Does that make sense?
No,
So
absolutely.
I had to slow down. So about a year and a half ago, I decided, actually I think May of last year was a year when I
Mhm.
decided that I'm no longer going to work a Thursday or a Friday.
Okay.
And I took it off, but because I'm so scheduled so many months out, right, it took me until November to have my first Thursday off, right?
No, I think,
So,
yeah, I think you gave me an answer, both the answer, right? So first you mentioned that there's nothing like balance. So for example, if you're focusing on something, you have to put yourself in, like, there's no way back. You spoke with your partner. I think that's a great thing. Most of the people don't able to, do that or explain to their partner and, get
I
some
mean, for
personal life
me,
time.
think of
Yeah.
it. Balance is like, I believe you can have it all, but not on the cost of something, right? So
Right.
I wouldn't want my marriage of 21 years to suffer. I wouldn't want the relationship with my children or with my friends to suffer, or my parents, right? I wouldn't want my health to suffer and suddenly gain 300 pounds. Yes, I'm a millionaire, but 300 pounds, right? So yeah, there is a balance that, but you get to design that. Does that make sense? So something that some people probably wouldn't want to travel as much as I do, or they wouldn't want to have 9 companies as I do, right? I enjoy it. What I do, it comes easy to me. So to me, it feels like balance, but I don't want anyone to feel like now they have to wake up at 4 o'clock and they have to be done working by 5 o'clock. I mean, some days, yeah, I work until 9:30 at night, and today you're my only appointment.
Yeah, so I think that's really a good sign, especially people who are actually looking to take the level up. So, for example, there are so many productive agents I know for a fact, but at the end of the day, they have no one to go back right at home. So I know them,
Mhm.
personally. I think that is what I was talking about. So it's
I
equally
then I would be
important.
an my full-time job would be to find a partner.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good answer. What I was looking to hear from you, especially managing so many things. So one more thing, and this is expert. exclusively for you because you have a motto that the best marketer wins, right?
Yeah.
So it's resonates deeply, the, I would say, the secret to become successful in the industry. So where effective marketing can make or break the deals. So could you elaborate how you apply this in your success journey, or the journey you are right now in, and how probably, or I would say particularly, if you talk about any realtor who's thinking of switching to eXp Realty, can leverage this cloud-based company eXp Realty, and how they can actually exponentially grow their career path. So if you can just throw some light on the same.
Yeah. So, you know, I have to go back to the basics, right? Even when I got into real estate, I was like, okay, I need to exist. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how does anyone going to know who I am and what I do for a living? So really, that's what it comes down to. If you think about it, no one's going to wake up today and market you. No one's going to wake up today and market me. Everyone is in the business of marketing themselves,
Correct.
right? So you have to learn to market yourself. So I call it the shameless self promotion, right? Like when I wake up and I achieve something today, I have no problem telling the world that, hey, I got a 2 Comma Club award, or hey, I was nominated top 125 most influential people in the US, or whatever that it is today, right? You have to do that in order for people to see your success. The more they see that your hard work and your work ethic and what you stand for and your character and all that and the achievements that you have, the more they're going to be like,
Follow
oh,
you.
I guess I work with Gogo too, right? At first, especially the people that know you, they know that you just got a real estate license. Right,
Yeah.
so they want to make sure that you're actually going to stick it out and you're going to like achieve something, and you're not going to be those 80% of agents that never make it, right? So I think it's super important to show your daily hustle and to exist on these platforms, right? So they know. And then it's kind of like a broken record. I feel like I'm keep saying the same thing over and over again, but you have to think about it. If someone didn't follow you last year, then they wouldn't know what you achieved last year, right? So,
Correct.
or the year before, or the year before. So it's kind of like a broken record. It's like a parrot saying the same thing over and over again, to get the same result, right? And that's pretty much it. And then you have to figure out who is your target audience. I think that's super important, to figure out who are you talking to in the end of the day. So it's like throwing darts, right? You don't want to have a huge canvas and just keep throwing it. Hopefully
Yeah.
it sticks, right? You want to zone in who is your target buyer, who is your target seller, who is your target agent. Like, are your buyers in the 300,000 or are they in the million? Do they live in this side of town? Do they live in this side of town? Is it a single guy, a single woman, a married family of 2 kids? Is it a large family? Is it a small family? Do they have pets? They don't have pets? Do they prefer to live in a gated community or lakefront or high rise? Or, you know what I mean? You have to nail down who your target audience is. And usually, your target audience is the people who are just like you. That's the easiest target audience,
Yeah.
right? That's your like low hanging fruit. So if you sit down and think about like, okay, I'm married. Okay, I have children. I have a child with diabetes. I'm an immigrant. I'm a woman, right? So then when you write these things down of who you are, what are those like significant points about yourself? Your target audience also have those same qualities. So that is
Yes.
your low hanging fruit, right? So that is your original target audience. And then eventually when you start working with that, that's going to come easy. Well, then you're going to realize when I got into it, we were that young broke couple with young children. So my target audience was young broke couple with young children. Right, so working with young broke couples, it was harder, right? Because it's harder to get them financed, it's harder to get them to the closing table. They can't afford any repairs in the home, they will walk away from a property. And I was like, okay, so I'm working extra hard, I'm putting in all the time and effort, but not getting a commission every single time, right? So I said, okay, then who should be my new target audience? Like, if I sell a $250,000 house, is that the same work ethic or the same effort, I should say, than it is to sell $1 million house? And
Million
I
dollar
realized,
correct.
yes, it is. So then I'm like, okay, well, then my new target audience is $1 million buyer. So then I
Mm.
started showing $1 million properties and talking about lakefront properties. And right, so you can change your target over time. Initially, the easiest one is your low hanging fruit, and those are the people who are just like you, right? And then you can change from there and you can change your target. And same with when I came over to eXp, I changed my target, right? I changed it. I concentrated on agent attraction because by that time, I was 8 years in my career. Transactions came natural to me, right? I already had past clients. I had 5-star reviews, returning customers. I had a lot of referrals. So I didn't have to spend time and effort to keep up my transactional side of my business. So then I have to change my target. And I said, okay, who's my target audience when it comes to agent attraction? And my target audience was the capping agents, because when it comes to, I work for money. I don't know what you work for. listener, but I work for money, right? So at eXp, we get paid revenue share for the producing agents that we bring to the company. We get paid up until the agent's cap. So when they cap at 2.7 million, right, we are no longer getting commissions or revenue share percentages above $2.7 million in production. So I said, okay, then my target agent is minimum a capper, right? Or right on at least $2 million in production. If they can do $2 million in production, I don't have to hold their hand. They know how to take transactions from start to finish to the closing table. They know how to hunt and put food on the table, right? And if they can do 2 million, I don't have to babysit them and I can take them to 2.7 to cap. If I can turn them into a capping agent, they'll be happy, and happy agents never leave, right? And then the next one, I said, okay, well, how high? If I go from 2 up to 6, then they're this close to iconing, right?
Yeah.
So if my target audience became that 2 to 4, $2 to $6 million producer, because I knew that from 2, I can take them up to 2.7 to cap, and then from 6, I can take them up to iconing, right? So 1 or 2 more transactions in the icon. And again, capping agents and icon agents are happy. Happy agents refer, happy agents stay, happy agents help build a community. So that was my target audience. So everything that you do, you have to figure out who's your target audience and who are you talking to in the end of the day? Who should be listening to what you have to say?
Absolutely.
And that's really what it comes down to. And then the more you focus in on it, the easier it is to aim.
No, absolutely. I think you have summarized a lot of things and a lot of questions which was not even asked, answered that. So I think I loved it. So one thing you would just mention, like how to retain, how to focus and, target the right audience. So one thing I can also just when you started answering the question, so you did mention that you have to target, the people like you. So there's one thing which Michael Waldes has shared with, everyone, all the group leaders. And he said, instead of recruiting the agents, you have to influence the agent, right? So it's a huge difference, right? So you are looking for the people who really wanted to be like you, right? So this is the easiest low hanging fruit what you are targeting to, and they can connect with your life, sharing your daily hustle. They can see, because I remember I was very bad with social media. If you ask me, I'm a camera shy person, so it was very difficult for me. Like you said, you are not able to
Yeah,
speak
there you
English.
go.
It's the same
That's my
situation with me.
camera right now.
Same situation with me. If you ask me about 5 6 years back, I was barely able to speak. I can write a good English, but I was not able to speak, because that was not my job. But when you change the I would say seats, then you have to change it, and then responsibility comes to you. And being a broker of records and managing broker for EXP Reality India, it's been 3 years. I must have interacted more than maybe 8,000 or 10,000 agents, personally, on one. They called me and I met them in the events and all. But then what I realized, they really wanted, some of them, like they really wanted to be like me, right? So I am just 33, recently turned 34 2 days back. And then, they will like how you are able to, do this in such a, short age of your life. There are so many people who are struggling for last 30, 40 years. But I think one thing which I also can relate, and working as a realtor, what you just mentioned, that efforts, right, for selling a small 300,000 property. I started selling my property. If I'll tell you the number, you will be amazed to hear. So first property I sold in my life when I was 19, I was doing my internship, and it was, kind of fun only, because in India you doesn't require a license to sell the real estate. So
Okay.
there's a friend of mine and he was working as an intern. So I said, okay, I was getting bored in my, computers, and I decided, okay, go, let's step out. And I spent 3 4 days, and I said, this is very easy. You just need to find a buyer, and then the developer is developing, and you need to just do the site visit, and it's done. So first property which I sold, it is actually $20,000. So India, obviously there's a dollar difference.
Yeah.
$1 is 78 rupees. So huge currency difference. So that time, I feel like, okay, I can easily make, thousand, a couple of 10,000 Indian rupees, which is maybe, a couple of $100 for you. And that moment I started somewhere, it's hit my mind. It's making money is very easy if you are doing it right, right? So after doing everything future let so I realized one thing, like selling 100,000 $200,000 house is actually more painful than selling $1 million house, right? And that's how I switched my whole career, and I started targeting to the rich people, like you said, join the club, playing golf, everything. So you really need to change yourself to get into that market. And now today, if you talk about, I have been selling luxury. I was with Sotheby's earlier before joining EXP, one of the top selling realtor in India. And yes, selling multi-million dollar houses. And now when I see there are a lot of people like me who really struggling with the same phase, so I decided to jump into EXP. help them, these people running the operation side of the business, start showing that you can also achieve, you can also buy a BMW, you can also buy a Rolex if you want to. You just need to focus. Everything is possible. You need to be, strong headed, and once you clear clarity of thoughts, and I think you can go ahead in the life. But I think this is something which I just wanted to share from my experience. But yes, coming back to you, Gogo, I know networking and relationship building, you have a huge team and you have 12 VAs you just mentioned. How do you manage these team? And in my opinion, network is a network. So you keep on networking. So how you actually suggest to real estate agents, like how they can use social media, right, to build their network and build a professional network, like-minded people. Like you just said, that I have to target a person who's kind of a broke couple with children's, right? And then you started targeting to the people who are looking for capping. So how are you actually able to manage it, and how any agent who are actually watching it and going to watch it is use social media to build their professional network, Gogo?
Well, it's kind of a loaded question, right? Because a professional network can be so many different things, right? So
Okay.
if you're doing it to become an expert in the industry, then I would start following the expert locally, right? So I would
Mm-hmm.
start following the title companies, and I would start following the marketing directors of each of these title companies, and then, mortgage lenders, and I would start following moving companies, and I would start following appraisers and inspectors, and then I would take them out. And this is exactly what I did in the first few weeks. Really, I had a coach that said never eat alone, so I would take out every day for coffee. I had 2 coffees every day. I was super caffeinated because I couldn't afford lunch, so I would take people out for coffee because coffee was cheap, right?
Yes.
And so I would take out the local experts. I would find them on social media. I'm like, hey, I see that you're one of the best lenders in the Brighton area. Can I please take you out for coffee and pick your brain? And then the next day I would take someone out for, an inspector in a moving company, or anybody that had anything to do with the real estate transaction. So I would say it's super important to build those relationships for multiple reasons. You're going to get smarter from every coffee meeting, right? You're going to learn something about the
Get
industry
yourself
that you
educated.
didn't know before. And
Yes.
that gives you content, right? So as soon as I left the coffee shop, I would just create a quick little video or a quick little post. I would take a picture with the person that I was out for coffee, and I'm like, hey, I just met with so and so, and guess what I learned today, right? I would tag that person. When they see it, they share it. So my audience grew through their audience, right? So you're going to get smarter, but B, you're going to meet really amazing people in the industry, and you're going to build your own network and your own infrastructure of who to go to when you have a question. And I remember I had a history professor back in high school in Romania, and he said, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters
Who knows?
where you can find the information
Yeah.
when you need it, right? And it's who you know, really, too, but also where you can find the information when you need it. I remember originally I wanted to go for a law degree, and I went and visited an attorney, and they don't know the answer to your question. They open a big book and they go to the section and they read it. And I was like, oh, like, you don't need to know it all. You need to know where to find the information, right? So initially in my career, after I formed these professional relationships with people, I would just have them on speed dial. Every time I had a question, right, I would just call so and so because I consider them an expert. Plus,
Yes.
when you have these experts in your back pocket, then the real estate transaction is so much easier. You
Transaction
get to the
becomes easier.
closing table much faster. Deals don't fall apart because you know who to go to and what questions to ask, and they can save a deal. And so that, I would say, on the professional side of things, that would be the first thing I do. The second thing I would do, now, who's going to be your buyer and seller, right? Now you have your team figured out who they are and who can help you. Who's going to buy and sell with you, right? So that's your next target audience. So I would say, okay, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you take people out for coffee for the experts. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you take people out that could potentially be your buyers and sellers, right? And those, or renters. And those are the people for me that I met most of the time through or school, right? Like the drop off, the pickup, the field dates, through my children, pretty much. Or through like yoga, someone I met at yoga, someone I
Activities.
met at the grocery store, like those kind, or someone that moved into our neighborhood. I got invited to someone's birthday party. I met someone there, right? Like those kind of, because again, I didn't know anyone, right? So then I would meet someone. I would be like, oh my gosh, it was so nice to meet you at Jessica's birthday. We didn't get to talk a lot. I would love to take you out for coffee. I have Tuesday available next week. Could you make it at 9 o'clock to Two Brothers, right? And they would be like, oh, I can't do Tuesday, but I could do Thursday. I'm like, okay, cool. I would pencil them in for Thursday, right? So that would be like still professional because it has to do with your work, because trust me, real estate will come up in the conversation, right? But it's more on the client side of things, not on the expert side of things, right? And then as you are growing, as you realize that, hold on a minute, I can't keep doing this for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to be chasing the next commission anymore. This is the evolution of your career, right? Then you're going to be like, okay, then who are the people that have achieved, who have been where I want to go, right? And then you start following those people, and then you start annoying them and be like, hey, I'm in town. Like, I literally reached out to Elena Cardone on Instagram. I'm like, hey, I'm Gogo, I'm an eXp agent, and I'm in Miami. By any chance you could do coffee? And she said yes. Like, I was driving to Miami. I was on my way to it's not like it was set up for months, right? And I reached out to her and I was like, well, what is she gonna say? No? Okay, at least I tried, right? And she said yes. And I was like, did Elena Cardone just say yes to having coffee? So I ended up going to her office straight on my drive to Miami. I went straight to her office. So I love studying people that have achieved something that where I want to go. And I think this is the evolution of your professional career, is by building it from the foundation up, and then eventually following the people where you want to go. So then the quickest way to success is by using other people's experience. So then you don't have to learn it on your own. Does that make sense? So
No.
that's what I would recommend for anyone to build a professional circle.
Very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So just to summarize, guys, everyone, I think if you are focusing on building your professional networks, right? So first you really need to, because you cannot do everything. So I cannot be a lawyer, I cannot be an attorney, I cannot be a lender. So if I don't know, but I can maybe, build a network around that. They will, rightly you said, they will educate you. They will give you some sense which you might know, and more you meet with them, more you build that net. Obviously, they will give you a referrals also, right? So if someone comes to them and they are looking for a good realtor, definitely the first point should come in their mind is you, right? So I think that's another advantage of building that. And second, like you said, buyer and seller, it's all about keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying, because you never know what is going to work. Like, this is what we call our marketing also. It's all about trying, like trying for different ways. Maybe sometimes the digital will work, video will work, maybe a Google ad. Everything you should try, right, to become a successful realtor. So this is really, really helpful, Gogo, and it feels like, you are refreshing my memories also. So I'm enjoying the session. So last question from my side. I know, listening to you, and I heard listening to you in the last eXp talking about AI. So I really wanted to, now I'm curious, like how you are leveraging AI. Any particular tools you would like to highlight that every realtor should use in today's scenario?
Yeah, so ManyChat would be probably number one. I could not live without ManyChat. So ManyChat allows us to set up keywords, and those keywords are automated with a message and a link, right? So if you go, that's what I use for agent attraction, right? Like, I'm actually going to make a post today, so you guys are going to see it in action. But I say comment the word partner to learn more, right? Or partner with me, right? And comment the word partner. When they go to my Instagram profile on any of my posts, they comment the word partner, right? They automatically get a DM from me with like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're interested about potentially partnering with me at eXp. Click the link below. I will see you in my calendar, right? So it's just automatic. And this system just works for you every single time, right? So ManyChat would probably be number one. And I'm not sure if I would consider go high level on AI, but I couldn't live without Go High Level, right? So inside of Go High Level is where we do all of our emailing. That's where we build all of our funnels. That's where we have all of our automations and you name it. Anything that a platform can do, Go High Level, I could not live without. And then of course the Chat GPTs of the world. Like, I have a Chat GPT that we worked on for so long. I mean, when Chat GPT came out, I paid for an expert to learn from him and use his knowledge, right? And one of my agent partners now, she's actually in Canada. Her name is Carrie Sobe. She also became an AI guru, right? And so she helps me all the time too. But my Chat GPT I use for all kinds of things. Like yesterday, I had my email girl. So we talked about the VAs. I'm going to cover that in a second. I have asked my email girl to write me a Facebook description or an Instagram description and give me 10 of the best keywords, right? Or hashtags, I should say, for that specific subject. So yesterday, one of my Gogopreneur podcast episode, which is called Financial Money Frequency, went live, right? So I asked her, I said, hey, when we are making the post, usually I create all of my posts, but I didn't have time to create it yesterday. And I said, hey, would you please just give me a description for this specific episode, and then go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what would be the top 10 hashtags for money and money frequency currently on Instagram, right? So it gave us the top 10 hashtags. She did the description, top 10 hashtags, and then reposted it. So I use ChatGPT for all kinds of things, right? But mostly it's to like do a quick little research on a specific subject that I don't have the time. And then also we have taught ChatGPT. So inside of my taught GPT, we have one that's called Gogo's Voice. So we can take anything that I want to write an email on, for example, and then my email girl takes it and says, hey, ChatGPT, can you please write an email in Gogo's Voice with this subject? And it needs to cover this, this, and this, and it needs to have some bullet points for this, and it must have the keyword, comment partner at the end, blah, blah, whatever it is, right? She plugs it in there, and I swear it gives it back to us, and it's so good. So through the years, ChatGPT has learned me so well that when I read those emails, if I had to go to court and put my hand on a Bible, if I wrote it or I didn't, I couldn't even tell the difference. It sounds just like me. And I think that's so important when you're building a brand, that your brand to sound like you. So if you're using these AIs of the world, that's fine. That's what they're created for. But you have to make sure that you massage it and then you teach it to sound like you.
So great. I think you have shared a really good tools. So guys, those who are actually watching and those who are going to watch, please note this down and don't forget and start using AI. I started when it was a different experience, like about 2.5 years back. First time when I get into this Chat GPT thing, and I was like, this is going to be crazy, right? And everyone, some of people are like, who's going to use it? AI is going to replace humans. But I think if you're not going to be use this AI tools, you will get replaced soon, right? So every
Yeah, you'll be
day
a dinosaur.
yeah, you will be a dinosaur, right? So Chat GPT 4 recently upgraded. So if you go and see the functional, it's kind of coming everything all together. They are coming now. It's not just a Chat GPT. They are coming up as a like suite. Everything you can manage it from there. So these are the great tools. Earlier you used to have like you have to hire 10 different people to do 10 different jobs, but now you just need to subscribe to 2-3 different tools and everything is done. So all is amazing. So guys, please start. If you don't know anything, please start exploring about it. Don't hesitate to find a mentor. Don't hesitate to invest in yourself, right? If you keep on doing the same thing, you're going to make the same money. Stupid mistake, most of the people don't understand. So if you really wanted to grow, please invest, right? Please pay to your
I
mentor.
pay for
Hire a good.
experts all the time. I pay for the ChatGPT expert, right? Now I'm figuring out SEO, so I'm paying for an expert for 6 months
Wow.
to help us make sure all of my websites are SEO optimized and all of the things are set up properly. And if you're not, most people will look at it of what they are saving, right? Or by not paying the expert. I'm like, what are you losing by not having all of your systems set up properly to function properly? You will work so hard for the rest of your life to because you weren't willing to invest into and pay for an expert. An expert became the expert on that specific subject because they spent a lifetime studying that subject. So unless you have a lifetime to study that subject, then yes, don't pay for the expert. But if you can pay for the expert, it's going to catapult your business and put it on a freaking rocket ship, because you don't have to spend 20 years to figure out what they've spent 20 years, what they know today, right? So that's the same with my agent attraction course, same with my Go Get 'em community, same with my everything. It's like you can go and figure it out on your own, or you can join and soak up all the information, right? And then speed up your career. So I am huge on spending money in my career. I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my own education. I'm front and central at every event. I have never skipped an eXp con. I have never skipped an eXp shareholder summit. I'm there at every build. It's people that don't invest into themselves, like I buy books, I go to events, I join seminars, webinars, you name it, right? Like anything that I want to learn, like I pay for my VAs to learn on a specific subject, right? So if Go High Level comes out with a training, I'm like, you guys all need to go, like here's it, $29, whatever it is, right? I pay for that because I understand that knowledge is what's going to take us to the next level.
Correct. Absolutely, absolutely, and I think you have said it very right, and I totally second you, Gogo, on the same thing. And I think I have seen so many people, they are coming and craving about it. So I'm not able to crack it. I'm not able to, become a good realtor. So my first question is, what you are doing to upgrade yourself, right? How much you are investing. So it's not about like, you have to put up plenty of money. You should go to the right mentor, spend some money. It's a like same thing like you said. Now you spend on these courses, going to the events, going to these webinars and everything. I have seen so many people, they buy fancy clothes, cars, everything, but when it comes to investing in real estate, in learning, right, in development, they feel like, oh, it's too much, $1,000. I cannot pay $1,000. You can buy a 10,000 dollars thing, but you cannot spend thousand, which can maybe change your life. So I think yes, I agree with you, and
Plus, it's
I
a
think change
tax
is the
write-off. I don't know in India, but in the US, it's a tax write-off. So if I don't spend money and reinvest it into my business, I'm going to give it to Uncle
same in India
Sam. Why
also.
on earth would I do that?
Same in India also, but people don't know. This is, as I said, people are not that financial, I would say, literate. So there are so many people who say like, why to pay VAT? Like we have a GST here. So there are so many things. I mean, obviously, it can be a long conversation if we get into that. But guys, this is an amazing session. I didn't realize we are 10 minutes over. So it's an honor to have you, Gogo, and I enjoyed this session thoroughly. I'm sure the audience did the same. But we love you. Keep doing what you are doing, and on behalf of eXp Realty, also, you are an amazing leader. So I'm so thankful, and I am happy. Anytime if you need me to build your team in India, I am like whatever it needs. Like I'm here to help you.
Oh my
So
gosh,
please have your
you're
team,
awesome.
in India as well. Yeah.
You're awesome. I remember having you in our agent attraction, the Team
Oh
Gogo
yes.
agent attraction, when we
Yeah.
when India got opened up and we had you there teaching. But thank you so much. No, I love the Indian community, especially not especially, I love you guys all, right? But for some reason in Canada there is a big Indian community in the EXP within the EXP community, right? And I went to I don't remember which EXP con, but one of the EXP cons, and they were all walking together. You guys always stick together like glue, so they were all walking down the hallway together, right? And one of them saw me and ran up to me and picked me up. Literally, we were spinning in the hall. But I just love your guys' culture. You guys are some of the sweetest people on earth, right? Just super kind all the time and super sweet. I've never seen any of you mad. I don't know if you guys do that. You don't do that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me and having this little, world or little light into your world, I should say. Same in return, if I can help you in any way, if you guys are doing maybe a weekly training, if you want me to come and do like a social media basics training or something, I would be, or agent attraction or
Yeah.
whatever you guys want, I am here to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would request if it's possible, just ask your VAs that you can launch some courses in India also, maybe as a pro bono. But I think this is going to help a lot of people, right? I'm
So
telling
I
you,
do.
we
So
need people like you.
two of my VAs are from
Oh wow.
India. Most of my VAs are from Brazil. I have one from Pakistan, and about probably 12 of them from Brazil, and then two from India. So my web designer and my video editor, they are both from India, and then a bunch of girls and boys from Brazil, and then I have my numbers guy from Pakistan. So I love a mixture. It's kind of funny because Christy, my director of operations, she's the only American in the group.
Oh wow. So that's why
So
you are, I would say, truly cosmopolitan, right? So I would suggest, well, this is something
well, maybe
and I think
there is something we
some of
could
the
do together because I
yeah,
clearly can't translate it into your
absolutely,
language. So whatever we do, we could
absolutely,
build out an infrastructure for a social media course and then do it together. Somebody has to translate it,
yeah,
right? Or there is an app, actually, there's an AI that
yeah.
could
That's
translate it.
answer.
What is it called? Hello.
There are so many actually. There are so many right now. Something called anesthesia, something like that.
Yeah, there's a
That is also
woman's name, but I
synthesia,
want to say it was Anas-
synthesia, synthesia.
Okay, so there's another one called Jenna.
Don't know.
I can't remember, but I was thinking about potentially translating my Gogopreneur podcast into Hungarian so my parents can understand it. But they, at the time, they were charging an arm and a leg, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. But that could be maybe something down on the road. But would love to. Maybe
Yep. Great.
we can figure something
But
out.
thank you so much for your time, and I love your energy this morning. I don't know how much like it's just, it's too early for you. It's a late evening in India. We are like in a different time zone.
Yeah.
So this is 8 p.m. I'm sure this is around 7. What
Yeah.
time is there? It's
10:44
10.
a.m.
10.
here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. You are
And
in
I like
EST.
to sleep in, and that's why I'm a little slow this morning, but I'm here.
Thank you so much for your time, and truly an honor to have you. And this is, I would say, one of the few sessions which extended beyond the time, but I'm sure that everyone is going to love it. So if you know some AI tools, please don't put it in the comment so that
I
other
remember
people will also
that
join.
it's called Hey Jen. It's called
Hey
Hey
Jen.
Jen. I,
Okay.
yep.
Yes. So, guys, this is more about how you can actually build your business through social media, how you can leverage social media, how as a realtor, how as a mentor you can actually attract good agents, good buyers, good sellers using and influencing the social media. So, I hope you are going to like this session, and we will be coming back next week, same time with new guest. Thank you so much, Gogo.
Thank you so much.
Loved every bit of it. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye bye. Namaste.
guys. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.